Zoe and Lily love to play pranks. They played pranks on their mom. They played pranks on their dad. They even played pranks on their dog. Zoe and Lily only did pranks at home. But one day, they decided to try some pranks on their friends. They loaded up their backpacks with water balloons and fake spiders. Then they headed to the park. Before the girls made it to the park, they saw their friend Austin playing outside. They put a few fake spiders under a leaf and called him over. "Hey!" Austin greeted. The girls grinned at each other. "Hi, Austin," Zoe snickered. "Check out this cool maple leaf." "Awesome!" Austin said as he picked up the leaf. But when he saw the spiders, he yelled in surprise. The girls laughed. Austin did too when he realized the spiders weren't real. "Good prank," he laughed. When they got to the park, the girls spotted their friend Charlie. Zoe and Lily quickly hid behind a tree and pulled their water balloons out. When Charlie was walking by, they jumped out and tossed their balloons at him. The girls laughed. Charlie did not laugh. "My poster!" Charlie yelled. "You ruined the poster I made." "It was a prank," Zoe explained with a big smile. Charlie did not smile back. Lily explained that they were just trying to make him laugh. "It was a prank," Zoe said again. "Pranks are funny." But Charlie didn't think it was funny at all. "Your prank ruined the poster I made to decorate my uncle's birthday party," Charlie said with a frown. "It was an accident. We didn't know you had a poster," Lily said. Charlie was feeling frustrated. They didn't seem to understand why he was so upset. He took a deep breath and began to explain. "You were trying to be funny, but it wasn't funny to me," Charlie said. "It doesn't matter that you didn't know I was holding a poster. You still ruined it." Zoe and Lily looked at each other. They both felt bad. Their pranks had never hurt anyone before. "We're really sorry," Lily started. "That should have been the first thing we said. We can't go back in time and fix the poster, but we can help you make a new one," Zoe offered. Charlie felt a little bit better. "That sounds good. If all three of us work on it, I can still make it to the party on time," he smiled. After they made a new poster, Charlie headed to the party. The girls walked home. "We need to be more careful with our pranks," Zoe said. "And if we mess up, we should say sorry right away," Lily replied. "Right," Zoe agreed.
Sophia and her friends Kevin and Imani were in the field behind Kevin's house, trying to catch fireflies. The three friends had been trying for a while, but they hadn't caught anything. They went into Kevin's house to get supplies. "We have to figure out the best way to catch a bug," Kevin said. "I think we should use this net," Sophia started. "When the fireflies are flying, we can swing it and catch them." Kevin and Imani looked unsure. "What if we use this box?" Imani asked. "We can set the box down and wait for a bug to fly in. Then I'll put the lid back on and trap it." Sophia gave Imani a doubtful look. She was pretty sure her net would work better. "I don't know about that," Kevin said. "But what if we use this flashlight? Bugs love lights, and we can use it to attract the fireflies." Sophia thought that the bugs would be too hard to catch that way. They debated about which way was the best way to catch a firefly. They couldn't agree on whose idea they should try. Sophia thought her idea was the best. She wondered if her friends' ideas would work at all. Since we can't decide on just one way, let's do them all. Maybe there's more than one way to catch a bug, Imani said. I guess, Sophia replied. They headed outside and tried their ideas out. Sophia swung her net. Imani put her box in the grass, and Kevin flashed his light on and off. It worked! They all worked. After they caught their bugs, they put the fireflies into little jars and watched them fly around. Wow! I really didn't think they would all work, Sophia exclaimed. They spent the rest of the night catching bugs and letting them go again. They even used each other's ideas to catch more fireflies. Fatima and her stepmom took a trip to the library so that Fatima could attend an art class. When Fatima got inside, she saw some kids from her school. She walked over to their table, but before she could pull out a chair, a boy named Zane did it for her. He held her arm to help her sit down. The librarian passed out paint and brushes and told the kids to create a self-portrait. Everyone began painting. Fatima reached for a bottle of paint, but Zane picked it up and started opening it for her. Thanks, but I can open it myself, Fatima told Zane as she reached for the paint bottle. She was feeling annoyed. Zane looked hurt. He just wanted to help her. When it was time to clean up, Fatima picked up some paintbrushes to wash at the sink. Zane rushed over and took them out of her hands. Don't worry, he said with a smile. I'll take care of those for you. Fatima felt her cheeks turn red. She was embarrassed and angry that Zane was treating her like she couldn't do anything. Stop doing things for me without asking, she snapped. I can do it myself. Zane looked confused. I was trying to help you, he explained. Fatima knew that, but it was still frustrating for her. But you grabbed me, tried to open my paint, and took those paintbrushes away from me, all without asking. I wish you had asked first, she said. I just wanted to be nice, Zane insisted. I saw your walker and thought you might need help. Just because I have a walker doesn't mean I can't do anything, Fatima said. I want to do things for myself, and if I need help, I'll ask for it. Zane finally understood. He thought he was being helpful, but it wasn't helpful to Fatima. I'm sorry, Zane said, handing the paintbrushes back. Next time, I'll ask. Thanks, Fatima replied with a small smile. When it was time to go, they were excited to take their paintings home. Zane started to reach for Fatima's, but then he stopped and asked if she needed help. I've got it, she grinned. But thanks for asking.
Drew and his sister Rachel had been skateboarding for hours with their friend Juan. Drew was trying to figure out how to do a trick Rachel was teaching him. Rachel, can you show me how to drop in again? Drew asked. Rachel balanced the back of her skateboard on the edge of the ramp, then dropped in and rolled down without falling. Drew kept falling when he tried. Drew stood with his skateboard balanced at the edge of the ramp and leaned forward to drop in. He immediately fell off his skateboard and banged his knee on the ground. Drew, are you okay? Rachel and Juan asked at the same time. Drew felt embarrassed, and his knee really hurt. He could feel tears in his eyes. Drew turned and quickly wiped away the tears before anyone could see them. I'm fine, he said to them, even though he wasn't. Drew remembered what his parents always told him. Big kids don't cry, he whispered to himself. Drew got back on the ramp again. He fell and banged his knee even harder. He felt upset that he kept falling. This time, he couldn't hold back the tears. Rachel and Juan ran to his side and helped him up. Don't cry, Rachel encouraged him. You'll be okay. I'm trying not to, Drew mumbled through his tears, but I'm so frustrated. It's okay to cry if you're upset or hurt. I do, Juan said. Drew thought about what Juan had told him. But I don't want anyone to think I'm being a baby, Drew said quietly. You're not being a baby. Lots of people cry, Juan replied. I cried on the first day of school because I felt scared. I actually still cried too, Rachel admitted. I cried when I didn't make the volleyball team because I was so disappointed. Really? Drew asked, wiping away his tears. Really, Rachel smiled. I'm sorry I told you not to cry. Drew felt some of his frustration go away, and his knee hurt a little less. Big kids can cry, he said to himself. He walked back over to the ramp and got ready to try again. Kezzy was getting ready for bed. She followed the same routine every night. She changed into her pajamas, put on her bonnet, and brushed her teeth. The last thing she always did was grab her favorite stuffed animal, Ellie, and get into bed. Kezzy looked at the rocking chair near her bed. She remembered reading books there with Ellie that morning, but he wasn't there. Dad! Kezzy called out. Kezzy's dad rushed in looking concerned. What's wrong? He asked. I can't find Ellie, Kezzy cried. I can't sleep without him. Ellie is your responsibility, Kezzy, her dad said gently. You have a few minutes to look for him, and then it's time for bed. Kezzy began to cry. She couldn't sleep without Ellie, but she wasn't sure where to start looking. Kezzy, you've got to calm down so you can think clearly, she told herself. Kezzy used her bonnet to wipe away her tears and then took a deep breath. She counted to 10 and took another deep breath. Once she calmed herself down, she began to look for Ellie. I know he's in here, she thought. She looked under her bed, but he wasn't there. She searched inside of her toy chest, but he wasn't there either. Kezzy felt herself getting upset again, so she took some more deep breaths. She started to think about the last time she saw Ellie. She remembered reading a book with Ellie that morning. After that, she made her bed and went to school. Suddenly, Kezzy smiled. She knew exactly where Ellie was. Ellie was behind her pillow. She had put him there that morning so he could nap while she was at school. She got into bed just as her dad came back in. I knew you'd find him, her dad said with a smile, tucking her in. Sweet dreams. Good night, Dad, said Kezzy. And good night to you too, Ellie.
Jamal looked through his closet for his favorite jacket. The weather was starting to cool down, and he didn't want to be cold on his walk to school. He found his favorite jacket and tried to put it on. Jamal was disappointed when he realized that it didn't fit anymore. Jamal was the youngest of 3 boys in his family, so most of his clothes were hand-me-downs. His oldest brother got something new, then it got passed down to his middle brother, and finally, Jamal got it. He put on a different jacket that he didn't like as much and walked to school. On his way there, he noticed a girl from his school across the street. She wasn't wearing a jacket. She looked cold. A few days later, Jamal saw the same girl again. It was chilly outside, but she still wasn't wearing a jacket. Jamal thought about his favorite jacket, sitting in his closet at home. When Jamal got home, he took his old jacket out of the closet. It was still his favorite, even though it was too small. He waited so long for it to get passed down to him. I really love this jacket, Jamal said aloud. He thought about giving the girl his jacket, but he didn't want to give away something that he liked so much. He wondered if the girl he saw would even want his hand-me-down. The next day was very windy and very cold. Jamal brought his old jacket with him when he left for school. He thought about how cold the girl would be without anything warm to wear. He knew what he needed to do. When Jamal saw the girl that day, he walked over to her. "Hi, I'm Jamal," he said with a smile. "I noticed you don't have a jacket. Do you need one?" "I'm Emma," she said. "Yes, I do, but are you sure you don't need it?" "I'm sure. I love it, but it doesn't fit me anymore," Jamal said as he handed it to her. Jamal thought he would feel sad, but instead he felt something warm inside of him. He realized keeping his old jacket in his closet wasn't helping anyone, but sharing it with Emma helped her. The next morning, Jamal saw Emma waving to him from across the street. They walked to school together from that day on. He didn't have his favorite jacket anymore, but he did have a new friend.
After playing tag at the playground, Derek and Alani sat at a picnic table and spread out their lunches. They had both brought their favorite food. Alani brought spam musubi, and Derek brought leftover curry chicken and rice. Alani looked over at Derek's lunch and wrinkled her nose. Derek looked over at Alani's lunch and made a face. "What is that?" they both asked each other at the same time. Derek explained that his family was from Jamaica and they had curry for many meals. "My dad uses curry powder to season the chicken and we eat it with rice. It's my favorite," he exclaimed. "My family eats curry sometimes too," Alani said, "but it doesn't look like that." Alani explained that in Hawaii, where her mom grew up, spam musubi was a popular lunch food. It's meat on top of rice and it's wrapped in nori. Nori is roasted seaweed. It's so good. "Wow, I didn't know you could eat seaweed," Derek said. "Do you want to try some of mine?" Alani asked. "Maybe," Derek started. "Will you try mine?" They were both nervous about trying something new. Both friends were worried about hurting the other one's feelings. What if they didn't like it? Derek and Alani thought about what they should do. "My mom always tells me it's good to try new things," Alani said. "My dad says the same thing," Derek replied. "I've never had food from Hawaii," Derek said slowly. "But if you say spam musubi is good, I want to try it. I guess I could at least try Jamaican curry." "I'll try yours too," Alani said with a nervous smile. They decided to take a bite of each other's food on the count of 3. 1, Alani started. 2, Derek continued. 3, they counted together. Then they closed their eyes and each took a bite. Derek and Alani chewed slowly. "What do you think?" Alani asked. "You were right. Seaweed is so good. I liked the saltiness from the spam too," Derek smiled. "Your curry was so flavorful. I wish my dad made chicken like this," Alani said with a grin. They finished their lunches and headed back to the playground. "I'm excited to see what you bring for lunch tomorrow," Alani said. "I'll ask my dad to pack extra if you ask your mom to do the same," Derek replied. "It's a deal," Alani smiled. Noor and her friends rushed to their after-school game club. When they got to room 203, they all raced to pick a game to play. Nor and Ian both got to the chess game. Nor wanted to use the black pieces, but Ian grabbed them first. Nor felt her face get hot. After a few minutes, Ian was already winning. He captured many of Nor's pieces. Nor clenched her fists. She started to get a weird feeling in her stomach. I don't even like this game, Nor muttered to herself. Checkmate, Ian said with a smile. He won the game. Nor felt like she was going to explode. She did not like losing. Before she could even think about what she was doing, she flipped the chessboard over and the pieces fell on the ground. Nor was furious, but she was also feeling embarrassed. She wanted to clean everything up. She wanted to say sorry. But most of all, she wanted everyone to stop looking at her. Nor ran out of the classroom. Nor was breathing hard. She hated losing. She tried to remember what her dad had taught her about getting angry, but she couldn't think straight. Think, Nor, think, she said to herself. Nor's teacher stepped out in the hallway and knelt down beside her. Nor, drink some water and come back in when you're ready, he said gently. Nor was glad that her teacher remembered she'd been working on controlling her temper. As Nor went to drink from the water fountain, she remembered her dad's words. WBC. Water, breathe, count to 10, Nor recited. Nor and her dad had created a calm-down plan to help her control her temper. Nor took a long, cool drink of water. Next was breathing. She took deep breaths in through her nose and out through her mouth. Then she slowly counted to 10. Nor felt better. The weird feeling in her stomach was gone, and her face didn't feel hot anymore. She wished she hadn't acted out and thrown the game, but she was proud of herself for calming down on her own. Nor entered the classroom and walked over to Ian. I'm sorry I got so mad. You played a good game, she apologized. That's okay. We all get mad sometimes. Do you want to play again? Ian offered. Nor and Ian reset the board to play again. Nor made a promise to herself. If she started to feel her face getting hot or felt that weird feeling in her stomach, she would get some water, breathe, and then count to 10. Priya and Esther were in Priya's backyard drawing pictures of each other. Priya's mom gave the girls some snacks to eat and sunscreen to put on while they sat outside. Why did you use that color for my skin? Esther asked, looking at Priya's drawing. What do you mean? Priya asked. I always use this color. Well, that's not what my skin looks like, Esther said, holding up her arm. We aren't the same color. Priya held her arm up next to her friends. She knew that she and Esther had different skin colors, but she didn't know why. You're right, Priya said, looking at her friend's arm. Priya wondered why their skin looked so different. I just learned all about this at the doctor's, Esther exclaimed. It's because of melanin. Melanin? What's that? Priya asked. Melanin is something that everyone has in their skin. It's very tiny and you can't see it, Esther explained. If you have darker skin, that means you have a lot of melanin. If you have lighter skin, you have a little bit. That's really cool, Priya said. I thought so too, Esther agreed. So we all have melanin, but we don't have the same amounts. Why? Priya asked. I asked my doctor that too, Esther replied. Esther drew a picture for Priya. She explained how people get their skin color from their relatives and family that lived long ago. Melanin also helps to protect our skin from the sun, Esther explained. But my mom says that I still have to wear sunscreen, she added. She says everyone should. Do other things have melanin? Priya asked. Yes, Esther answered. My doctor also told me that animals have melanin too. Melanin gives zebras their stripes and lions their golden fur color. Well, it looks like I need to add a little more melanin to this drawing, Priya said, smiling at her friend. Here, Esther said, smiling back. You can use this crayon. This is the color I always use when I draw myself. Thanks, Priya said. When the girls finished drawing, they exchanged pictures. I love it, Esther exclaimed. It looks just like me.
Jake had a decision to make. For Wear Your Favorite Color Day at school, he put 2 shirts on his bed. One was pink and one was blue. Jake decided to wear the pink shirt. He liked blue too, but pink was his favorite color. He put on his shirt and went to school. Jake got to his class and sat down next to his friend Ashley. Jake, Ashley said, looking confused. Why are you wearing that shirt? What do you mean? Jake asked. Pink is for girls, Ashley replied. Ashley's words made his face feel hot. He was embarrassed and felt like hiding. Jake looked around the room. Most of the girls were wearing pink or purple, and most of the boys were wearing blue or green. Jake tried not to let it bother him. His family always said that pink wasn't just for girls, and blue wasn't just for boys. My parents said that some people think that pink is just for girls, but it's not true, Jake said. Pink is for everyone. Then why aren't any other boys wearing pink? Ashley asked. Pink is my favorite color, Jake said, sounding braver than he felt. When it was lunchtime, Jake felt nervous. What if his family was wrong and Ashley was right? What if the other kids think it's weird and not just Ashley? What if it was weird for a boy to be wearing pink? He wished he had worn his blue shirt. On the way to the lunchroom, Jake heard some kids behind him laughing. Are they laughing at me? He wondered. When he got to the lunchroom, he couldn't believe his eyes. He saw that he wasn't the only boy wearing pink. Everyone was wearing every color of the rainbow. Jake began to smile. Ashley, look! Jake exclaimed. There were other boys he knew, wearing pink too. You made me feel bad about liking pink, but it's okay for anyone to like any color, Jake said. It's not just for girls. Sorry, Ashley mumbled quietly. Jake loved pink. He was glad he wore his favorite color to school. Cool shirt, one of the older kids said. Jake couldn't stop smiling. On Saturday morning, Noah's parents took him over to their new neighbor's house to drop off a pie and welcome them to the neighborhood. There were no other kids on Noah's street, and he was hoping to make a friend to play with. Noah was surprised when a girl his age opened the door. Her name was Tao. They looked at each other. Noah felt disappointed. Tao didn't look like the friends he usually played with. Tao felt disappointed too. Noah didn't look like her friends from her old neighborhood. While their parents talked, Noah and Tao sat in her front yard. Do you like video games? Noah asked. Not really, Tao said. Do you like painting? Not really, Noah responded. Noah didn't know what to say, and neither did Tao. The next day, Noah's mom encouraged him to invite Tao to play. "I don't think we'll become friends," Noah said. "Noah, you just met her. You have to get to know someone first," his mother said with a smile. "Friendships take time to grow." "But we don't have anything in common. She doesn't even like video games," Noah grumbled. "Maybe she'd like to play with some of your other toys?" his mom suggested. "Okay, I guess I can try," Noah agreed. Noah grabbed some toys and went to Tao's house. Tao was surprised to see Noah. She was still unsure about what they could play together. Suddenly, Tao's dog came running out of the front door. She dropped a ball at their feet and wagged her tail. "This is my dog Lucy. Do you want to play fetch with her?" Tao asked. "Sure, I love dogs," Noah smiled. The more time Tao and Noah spent together, the closer they became. They discovered that they both liked dogs, baking cookies, and flying kites. One day, Noah and Tao were playing outside with Lucy. "You know, when we first met, I didn't expect we'd be such good friends," Tao said. "Me neither," said Noah. "But I'm glad we are." As soon as Navi woke up in the morning, he sprang out of bed and ran down the hall. He wanted to check on his wheatgrass seeds. Yesterday, Navi planted some seeds that his dad gave him. He was excited to see how much they had grown. "I wonder how tall my grass is going to be," Navi thought to himself. But when he looked into his cup, he only saw dirt. Navi felt disappointed. Navi looked at the bag of seeds and read the information on the back. It said, "Soak the seeds in water for 8 hours, then plant the seeds." "I did that," Navi said. "Small sprouts can be seen in 2 to 3 days, Navi read aloud with a groan. 2 to 3 days, he thought. That's going to take forever. Navi stomped to his room. Navi's dad came to ask him what was wrong. "The seeds you gave me are going to take 2 to 3 days to grow," Navi complained. "That's not too long, Navi," his dad said. "Remember what we talked about the last time you had to wait for something?" Ever since he was little, Navi had not liked waiting. "Navi, it's important to be patient. Learning how to wait without getting upset is a skill," his dad said. "Try to think of things to do while you wait." Navi sighed impatiently, but he began making a list anyway. He brainstormed different things he could do while he waited for his seeds to grow. First, Navi read a few comic books. After that, he cleaned up his room. Then he went outside and played for a few hours. Navi checked his cup the next day, but there still wasn't anything growing. He played some video games and built a fort with his dad. When he checked again on the third day, he saw his wheatgrass starting to grow. Navi jumped up and down with excitement. It wasn't easy to be patient, but doing the activities on his list helped. He watered his sprouts. He couldn't wait to see how big they'd look tomorrow.
Every Saturday, Aki checked the shoebox under her bed to see how much money she had saved up. Aki earned $5 every week from her grandmother for doing chores around the house. She was trying to buy a new video game, but it was taking forever. Every time Aki and her grandmother went to the store, she would run to look at the video games. The game she wanted cost $20. Aki never had enough money, so she would buy small toys or snacks instead. "I'm never going to be able to buy that game," Aki said with a frown on the bus home from the store. Why do you think that? Her grandmother asked. Because it's $20. I wish I got more money when I did chores, she grumbled. When they got back home, Aki's brother Michael heard her complaining about not having enough money. He pulled out a calendar and told Aki to circle the days she got paid for chores. Aki used a marker to circle 4 Saturdays. 5, 10, 15, 20. Aki's brother counted, pointing to each day she got paid. If you saved your money for 4 weeks, you would have enough to buy the video game you want. But then I won't be able to buy anything when we go to the store, Aki replied. Aki, her brother smiled, it's up to you if you save or not. Let me show you what I do. Michael showed her 2 jars. One was labeled spending and the other was labeled saving. What are those? Aki asked. My money jars, Michael exclaimed. When I get paid for my chores, I put $4 into the saving jar and $1 into the spending jar. I save most of it so I can have money for something special. That's a great idea, Aki said. She ran to her room and got another shoebox. She labeled one spending and the other one saving. It will be hard not to spend all of my money as soon as I get it, but I really want that video game, Aki thought. It took some time, but Aki worked hard and finally saved enough to buy her video game. Aki was glad she stopped spending all of her money right away and learned to save for something she really wanted. I wonder what I can save for next, she thought with a smile.
On the bus home from school one day, Leo noticed a new boy sitting by himself. Leo said hello as he passed, and the boy answered, Bonjour. Leo froze. This boy said hello in the same language that Leo spoke at home with his family. It was called Creole. No one at Leo's school knew that he spoke that language. He didn't want anyone to know. Leo loved speaking Creole at home, but he didn't know anyone else that spoke it. He didn't want to feel different from the kids at school. Leo wondered if this new kid was from Haiti, like Leo's own family was. The next day, Leo sat next to the new boy. Bonjour, Leo whispered so no one else could hear him. Bonjour, non moi c'est Jean-Edouard, the boy said with a smile. Leo smiled back and introduced himself too. Later, Leo saw Jean-Edouard trying to tell a teacher something, but the teacher didn't understand Creole, and Jean-Edouard didn't speak English. Leo thought about going over to help, but he was worried his friends might laugh at him. Leo heard Jean-Edouard say the words boîte manger. Leo knew that meant lunchbox in Creole. Leo decided to go over and help. Leo asked Jean-Edouard what was wrong, and Jean-Edouard told him in Creole. Jean-Edouard forgot his lunchbox at home, Leo explained to the teacher. Thank you so much, Leo, the teacher replied. I'll make sure he gets school lunch. Leo didn't notice that 2 of his friends were right behind him and heard everything. He looked at them and noticed they were smiling. You can speak another language? His friend Ryan asked. That's so cool! Really? Leo asked. He always thought that if his friends found out he could speak Creole, they would think it was weird. Yes! They exclaimed. Leo's friends asked him to teach them some Creole. He felt proud of his language and how he helped Jean-Edouard. I would love to, he beamed. I bet Jean-Edouard can help too. He speaks Creole, just like me. On the bus home from school, Leo, Jean-Edouard, and their friends practiced saying words in Creole and English the whole way.
Kaylani was feeling excited. Today was the day she was going to audition for a play about Cinderella. She loved to sing, act, and dance. She couldn't wait to try out. At the audition, Kaylani waited in the hallway for her turn to try out. She heard two girls say they wanted to audition to be Cinderella, but they didn't think they'd be right for the part. "Which part are you auditioning for, Kaylani?" the girls asked. "I'm going to be Cinderella," she responded. The girls looked confused. "But you don't look anything like her," one of them said. She ran down to the bathroom and looked at herself in the mirror. "Princesses can look like me, right?" she asked her reflection. She wondered if she should try out or just go home. Kaylani loved her beautiful dark skin and her bouncy black curls. They made her feel like a princess. They were wrong, Kaylani decided. Besides, I am an incredible performer. She smiled at her reflection, fluffed up her curls, then headed back to the audition. When it was Kaylani's turn, she walked on stage. She took a deep breath and went for it. She sang and danced and recited the lines. The next day, a cast list was posted. All of the students ran to see if they were in the play. Kaylani saw her name at the top of the list. "I got the part!" she exclaimed. "I'm going to be Cinderella!" Kaylani was glad she believed in herself and went through with the audition. Now it was time to get to work. She went over her lines with her parents and memorized each one. She practiced singing all of the songs and made sure her dance moves were just right. On the night of the performance, Kaylani was the star of the show. The audience gave her a standing ovation. She smiled widely, fluffed her curls, and took a bow.
Jack was excited that he was finally spending the night at Bosung's apartment. It was Jack's first sleepover. When Jack entered the apartment, Bosung's mom smiled and said, "Hello, Jack. Shoes off inside, please." Jack thought this was a little weird because he always left his shoes on when he was inside. Jack and Bosung went to his room to play. During one of their games, Jack started to jump on the bed. "One of our rules is no jumping on the bed," Bosung told him. "Oh, sorry," Jack said. At Jack's house, no one cared if he jumped on the bed. When it was time for dinner, Jack was surprised to see that Bosung's grandfather was there. "Is your granddad visiting?" Jack asked. "No," Bosung said. "He lives with us." "Wow, I wish I got to see my granddad all the time," Jack replied. Jack was unsure how to use the chopsticks that were on the table. Bosung's grandfather taught Jack how to use them to pick up his food. It was the same way that Bosung learned when he was younger. Jack had a little bit of trouble at first, but then he started to figure it out. "Is it time for ice cream?" Jack asked excitedly after dinner. "No, but my dad made rice cakes," Bosung exclaimed. Jack frowned. "No thanks." "Our families are so different," Jack said. "We don't do the same things at my house." "All families are a little different," Bosung replied, "especially if we come from different cultures." "Culture? What's that?" Jack asked. "It's all the things that are normal for you. Culture can come from your family, your neighborhood, or even the things you like to do," Bosung explained. "For example, in my family's culture, we take our shoes off inside." "What about at your house?" Bosung asked. "At my house, we don't take our shoes off, and we eat ice cream after dinner." Jack laughed. "Some things might seem weird," Bosung said, "but they're not weird. They're different." Jack thought about when he had to take his shoes off earlier. It really wasn't that weird. It was just different. When it was time for bed, Bosung asked Jack what he did at his house. Jack's family read books before bed. At Bosung's apartment, they sang songs. Jack grinned. Let's do both. Mike and his classmates were working on their art projects at school. Mr. Lay always let them chat quietly during art time. While Mike was painting, he noticed a new student, Chris, in class was wearing headphones while they worked. Mike stopped and looked around. No one else was wearing headphones. Hey, Mike whispered to the kids at his table. Did you notice that the new kid gets to wear headphones, but no one else does? The students looked around to see what Mike was talking about. That doesn't seem fair, Taylor said with a frown. Mike didn't like when things weren't fair. Mr. Lay, Chris has headphones on, Mike said. I know, Mike. Thank you, Mr. Lay replied. Chris needs those. Mike felt upset. If headphones aren't allowed in class, no one should be able to wear them, not even Chris, he thought. He raised his hand again. Mr. Lay, can I have some headphones while I work? He asked. I could see about getting you a pair, Mr. Lay replied. But I notice you're talking with your friends and getting your work done too. If you had headphones on, it would be harder to hear your friends. Why don't you think about it a little more before we get you some, Mr. Lay suggested. Mike still didn't understand how this was fair. If things were fair, then everyone would have headphones, Mike complained to Mr. Lay. Mr. Lay smiled and asked everyone to gather at the meeting rug. This morning, my son scraped his knee, so I gave him a Band-Aid. That's fair, right? Mr. Lay asked. Yes, the students answered. Well, I have a daughter too, Mr. Lay continued. Should I have given her a Band-Aid as well, just to be fair? No, they answered, looking around at each other. They were a little confused. My son needed a Band-Aid, but my daughter didn't. Sometimes that can happen in class too, Mr. Lay said with a smile. That makes sense, Mike said. He had seen Chris cover his ears while walking in the hallway earlier that day. Headphones must be really helpful for Chris. Mike went back to his painting. We should talk a little quieter so we don't distract Chris, Mike said to the students at his table. Good idea, Taylor agreed. Chris looked over at Mike. Thank you. That's helpful, Chris smiled.